So today we want just to have a bit of a chat about work-life balance, what we think that means, is it possible to achieve that, and just talk about something that's hopefully relevant to you.
Yeah, I guess from my point of view, just thinking it through prior to having a chat is what is the work-life balance? I think it's different for everyone. Some people's perception of work-life balance could be different to someone else's. I think sometimes in business, the more successful people will sacrifice perhaps a little bit too much at times, their life component, and focus too much on work. A lot of our business clients do fall foul of that. You'll see that they'll work around the clock and burn themselves out, and all of a sudden they have, lost the energy and the enthusiasm for their work. So I think it's a bit different for everyone, but yeah.
To do that, I find if you love what you're doing, I certainly love what I do, then drawing that line or finding that distinction between that work-life balance is tough. When you love it, you're engaged, you're thinking about it all the time, maybe to the detriment of that home-life balance. But it is certainly a passion and it's something hard to switch off. I think a lot has changed. The old days of work-life balance is almost like an old term, or it's unachievable nowadays. We're constantly connected, emails, texts, voicemails, whatever it is. We're in an online environment, so it's out there all the time. You're accessible, you're expected to be accessible 24/7. So thinking those days where you could clock off at 5 o'clock, go home, and then come on and worry about what's happened over the weekend, Monday at 9 o'clock, they're gone. So, but it's finding what enjoys you and focusing on what's important to you at the time. If you need to work, work. But if you need to be at home, be at home. That's what I find.
And I think also just we are in that digital world now, and that's not going to go anywhere. That's going to remain and grow and continue.
It's only going to pick up pace.
The rapidity of the information that flows is so much quicker. And the expectations of people are more these days.
Definitely.
So emails start to become more like instant messages rather than, like the replacement of a letter.
I sent you an email 5 minutes ago. You haven't got back to me. What's going on?
Where is it?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think maybe realising that and understanding that, but creating some boundaries for yourself around that as well. So that might be regular breaks, where you just take some time off during your day, or it could be more regular breaks throughout your year. Holidays, like have a little bit more regular annual leave and stuff like that, because working at that pace and that speed, I guess there's a burnout.
It's unsustainable.
There's an absolute burnout issue there, and yourself, know people and see people fall foul of that quite often. So,
like you said, they lose that passion, and then there's that real disconnect.
Yep.
And it's apparent to everyone.
Yep. And it becomes very difficult to get back into the rhythm of it again.
Yep. I think you're right, mate. I think you need to focus on what you're doing at that time, be engaged and really be committed to that. But when it's family time, try to focus on that. Schedule those times, have those breaks, be aware and be focused on what you're doing, but also mindful there are interruptions, be it work, be it family, kids, they'll come in at any time, even though you tell them not to. Here they come. Dad, mum.
Yeah.
So it's just knowing that. The other thing to be conscious of, I guess, are those time sucks. Those things when you should be working, but then you go down a rabbit hole and you end up Googling something, and then before you know it, you're watching funny cat videos and doing other things like that.
You've been on Facebook for half an hour. I guess also, just something that's just jumped into my mind was I was at a conference a couple of weeks ago, and there was a very successful Olympian swimmer speaking at that conference, and his take on work-life balance was that there is no such thing. It shouldn't even be discussed. It's just nothing. For him, it was because he was driven to succeed in his athletic life and sporting life that he said there is no balance.
Yep.
If you want to be the best, you have to sacrifice it all. There's a massive trade-off there. So. And that's where I think the perception of, not everyone wants to do that. Everyone's success is metered differently.
Yeah, definitely.
That was an interesting take. He just didn't think there was any topic to discuss in a lot of ways.
I think that's a very valid point when you think about it. If you want a happy, harmonious family life, you can't be at work 24/7, you can't be on call, so the business isn't probably going to be successful if you were focused there, but it's finding where do you sit, what is your happy medium, where are you comfortable.
Yep. Yep. And I think with the way we work too these days, if we are going to work at that pace, we need to be a little bit more gentle on ourselves in the fact that we are only human. There is only so many hours and there is only so many things you can do in a day. And, build that in and just make it enjoyable for your day somehow, whether you find that, there's a bit of a time in your day that you can do emails or make those phone calls or do things like that sort of suits you better than other times. Just run at that, don't feel that you have to be 9 to 5. Make it 7:30 to 7:30, but allow yourself maybe an hour to go to the gym or make it work differently for you.
To go to the kids' school, go to their assembly, see them get their award, go and watch their sports carnival.
Yeah.
They're the things they remember. So finding that balance is tough, but I tend to agree there's probably no such thing as a work-life balance. It's making the best of what you can, what makes you happy, and what continues to work for you.
Absolutely. As well.
Shoot us an email if you've got any questions, anything you'd like to hear us talk about or ramble on about. Please shoot us an email. We'd love to break it down for you. Give us our 2 bobs worth.
That's it.